Hey guys, what's up? It's Yvette, and today I'm going to be showing you a recipe that I did on my own last week. I think it's a dish that you will really enjoy. I'm going to be making gandules soup, basically a pigeon pea soup. I'd like to show you with this video that there are ways to eat vegetarian and vegan that are delicious and you're not sacrificing anything. You really won't even miss the meat in this recipe. In the beginning of the video, you're going to see me kind of harvesting the gandules. You can also buy canned gandules, but I figure that you may want to try having fresh gandules if you have that possibility. I just want to show you, I went to my parents' house, I'm there now. I got a whole bag full of gandules. I divided the dry gandules, which are in this bag, versus the fresh ones. The main difference is that the dry ones, when you shuck them, they immediately come out. And when you go to cook them, you will have to rehydrate them. Whereas the fresh ones, you just kind of have to pick them out of the pod basically, and they're ready to cook. So all right, y'all, so it literally took us an hour to shuck all of these dry gandules. You can use these to plant more gandules, or you can rehydrate them and cook with them. So I'm very excited. This is gonna be a great amount. Hey y'all, we are on day 2 of desgranando the gandules, basically shucking the gandules, the pigeon peas. This is what's left to shuck. There's still quite a bit. Pigeon peas so far, there's quite a bit. As you can see, this is a quart-sized bag.
So I wanted to show you all a clip of me shucking the gandules. Basically, you peel a corner off the pod and peel back. Then you pluck the little gandules out of the pod itself. I want to show you a couple of my favorite YouTubers here. Dave Ramsey, Speaking Some Truth, as well as Jen Chapin. I decided to just have YouTube on while I did shuck the gandules. It took me over like 3 hours to do all of the gandules together.
All done. This is the amount of fresh chickpeas that we got. This will be enough for at least 3 or so dishes. So these are the 2 bags. So as I always do, I'm going to show you the ingredients that I have on hand. I am going to cut up some fresh oregano. I've got a few cloves of garlic. Going to cut up these red peppers. These are actually what inspired the dish in the first place. I also have some tomato that I'll be cutting and using up, an onion, a few pieces of carrot, some pumpkin I've already scooped the seeds out of. It is a little bit older, so I will be trimming off the pieces that do not look well. If you're from Central or South America, you'll recognize what this is. It's a chayote. I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm going to use a large potato. I've also got some cilantro that I'm going to throw in there, and we'll get started. I am going to be leaving the skin on the potato. I find that it's more nutritious that way, leaving the skin on. I will be leaving the skin on as well on the pumpkin, but I will be peeling the carrots and the chayote. And just so you know, I did already wash everything to try to save up on time for filming purposes and whatnot. You guys didn't know I have a small little patio in my house. It's very, very small, but I've got a few herbs and a couple of pieces of fruit growing back there. One of them is this oregano that a sweet, sweet friend gave to me. I'm thankful for her. Thank you, Dawn. So I try to use this oregano whenever I make any sort of stew or soup. It's really delicious. If you don't have fresh oregano, obviously you can use dried, but I just love the flavor and touch that fresh oregano gives. Are interested in seeing a video on the different herbs and plants that I have in my little patio garden, make sure to let me know and I can maybe film a video for you all.
So basically you'll just want to chop the ends of the garlic off and cut them into little slivers. There's no need to mince this, just small enough pieces to put in the soup.
Just so you can see, does not have to be perfect at all.
So as you can see here, I am just cutting the onion into small slivers as well. I'm just going to cut up the whole onion and put that in a small bowl along with the garlic and the oregano.
I'm going to cut it up pretty small just for the sake of cooking time. I don't want it to be a super long cook time, so a little bit more. I'm going to cut up the pumpkin.
Instagram or YouTube because everyone just looks like they have it all together, and I always want to be here to remind you that no amount of followers or views or money or things that you have, material things, will ever make you happy. And as always, I am just as lost as everyone else. I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
That Morgan Adams? Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna open up the cilantro here that I got from Aldi. I'm gonna wash it.
So by this time the boys had come home and I had to end up voicing this over because they were talking to me and kind of distracting me. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm just doing a rough chop to the cilantro initially, and then once I get a rough chop I go in and kind of finely or chop it a little bit better, I guess you could say. What the chayote looks like before it's peeled and afterwards. I did cut up the carrots into little medallion size pieces, and you can see me just putting it in the bowl there. I was watching Christine on Frugal Fit Mom here on YouTube while I was cooking. Basically what I'm doing with the chayote is I am just chopping it into cubes and throwing it in with the rest of the veggies. So we're going to get into the soup in just a moment.
Okay, so we're gonna get started. I have my Dutch oven here and I have my base. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it in a salad spinner container just because it can hold a large capacity of water to throw in quite a bit of water for our stock. I mentioned a few moments ago the stove is on high. If you haven't seen my sofrito how to make it video, I will try to link that. Put 2 teaspoons of that in there. Get that going, get it mixed. It's not gonna look pretty right now, guys, but that's okay. It's gonna get better, promise. Also, just go ahead and throw my gandules in there. Again, I have got a little bag here. I wouldn't say half, but maybe a quarter of them in there. Okay, so I did decide to add a little bit more gandules to the soup. But here it is so far. I think the color's gotten much, much better. But I'm gonna go ahead and add some sazon anyway. And I'm just gonna add this little half packet that I had here. And also probably a full packet. But you can use it to your liking. If you prefer not to use sazon, that's perfectly fine as well. But I'm used to orange soups, funny enough. So that's what I'm gonna do. Again, it's all to your liking though. Very excited to show this. I'm gonna use just 1 cube of this Maggi vegetable bouillon cube. It's a very tiny little cube, but let me tell you, it packs a real punch. If you are planning on adding meat to this, you can obviously use chicken or beef, whatever meat you want. Bouillon cubes, but because I want to keep this vegetarian and vegan, I'm going to use these vegetable cubes. I got this at Publix, but I found another box and bought it at Presidente, so I highly, highly recommend. There's a little string that you pull, so that's kind of convenient. I like that a lot. Like, it's very cool. I'm going to continue on with the seasoning. I'm going to add some Badia bay leaf. 1, 2.5, 3 and 4. And I like odd numbers for some reason, so I'm gonna throw in 5 just for some good measure. It's already starting to have a pretty good smell, so I'm excited about that. In addition, I'm adding this adobo, the Goya adobo, the light version. I'm not gonna add too much because I don't want it to be super salty, just enough. And remember, because we have the base in there, that leftover soup, it already has some salt, so we don't need too much. I just added some McCormick onion salt, if you saw there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add some regular garlic salt, but it is from the Badia brand, so I'm throwing quite a bit, but not too much in there. Just the onion, the oregano, and the garlic for the moment. All right, and just give that a quick stir. As it cooks, it will kind of break down. And what's nice about this, if you don't include meat, it will cook a lot faster than traditional soups. And I would recommend that you taste it after seasoning to see how you like the flavor. The flavor will develop as the broth cooks. However, I do think it needs a little bit more something, so I'm gonna throw in another bouillon. If you're not gonna make such a big batch, you don't need to, obviously. So I still feel it needs a little bit of salt, but I'm gonna give it a minute. Once this comes to a boil, I'm gonna go ahead and add the other veggies and see if that helps with the flavor. Carefully throw them in there. And of course, when you're trying to film, it's even harder. Cilantro. The pumpkin and the potatoes, just little by little until this bowl gets light enough for me to slowly sprinkle stuff in there. Potatoes and pumpkin will soak a lot of this up, so if I have to drain some of the liquid, that's fine. I'm pretty sure I had to do it the first time, and that's not a problem. So I'm gonna give this a quick little stir, just for funsies. Get everything kind of incorporated in there. And if you can see, the cilantros look so beautiful in there, I must say. But the way I'm gonna scoop out the water is I'm gonna grab my ladle spoon and just slowly dip the back of it. I'll fish out the chickpeas later. And just throw it in a bowl. If we need more later, we'll add it back in. Continue throwing in my veggies. And we'll see how this goes. Just slowly throwing that in there. Oops! I just burnt myself. There, we don't want this to splash and we don't want it to spill over. I'm gonna give this a quick stir and a dunk. This is full to the brim, guys. So I'm gonna throw away some of that broth, but first fish out the chickpeas. Yeah, the flavor has already improved. Pop the lid back on. We'll leave a little bit of space for ventilation. This is what everything is looking like so far. It'll start to reduce slowly but surely. As things cook up, they will get smaller, so I'm not very concerned. It is a little bit higher in terms of broth than I want it to be, but I'm not very concerned. It's gonna turn out delicious. I'm already tasting the difference and I'm very much excited. So it's a little later than I wanted it to be. It's like 7 o'clock right now in the night, and my crowd's getting a little bit hungry here, so I'm gonna give this a quick check. I just wanna make sure that the potatoes are cooked through. The pumpkin is definitely cooked through, and it looks like the chayote is good, but I just am concerned about the potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop it out. You can see everything looks pretty nice. I'm gonna get a nice serving of that, and then I'll show you guys a close-up in just a moment. This is what it turned out like. You can see the gandules in there, some pumpkins, potatoes, and chayote. I'm very excited. I'm gonna get the rest of these served up. Just a quick note, if you get a bay leaf in there, not a problem. They are not edible, so just make sure you warn your crowd about that, but they should be fine. They can just pick it right out and it will be no problem. It is piping hot, so it is fresh, y'all. It is fresh. I'm gonna stir this a little bit. Okay. A little bit of broth up in here. Oh yeah, buddy. That is looking nice. I like it. I'm gonna serve this one a little bit more broth. I get some spoons and we're good to go. So dinner is served, y'all. I'm gonna turn you around and show you what the pot is looking like now. You can see there's a pretty significant dip in the stock. You can keep the rest for leftovers the next day, take it to lunch, or freeze it, whatever you guys like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed and will give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think of it. Thank you guys again for watching, and if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye.